When I left home and went to college, the faith was not the first thing on my mind. It was one of the last things on my mind. I had, all the typical goals of living the college party lifestyle and everything, and really dove headfirst into that. And I always just figured, I'll be holy when I'm older. Even if I am having fun, there was just a sense of emptiness. When I first started to hear the call to priesthood, I was sitting in Mass, and it was getting towards the end of Mass. The priest was giving the final blessing. This thought came in my mind, like, I could do that. And right away I was like, what? No, I don't want to do that. Like, I had never thought about priesthood my whole life. It really was a whole kind of 8 to 10 months of, I would call it me trying to convince God that he got the wrong guy, or that he wasn't actually calling me, and the Lord trying to convince me that his will for my life is the greatest thing I could ever ask for. So finally, I went on a retreat with our campus ministry at the University of Florida. I said, you know what, I think that this is what God's calling me to do. And that was the first time I kind of admitted it out loud. And I remember my hands were trembling even as I said that. So I got on my knees and I was like, all right, God, I'll do it. I'll go to seminary. And right when I said that, it was just the most incredible peace that I've ever experienced. And like this huge weight lifted off my shoulders. The love of God for me has been unconditional. I mean, when I really experienced this profound conversion, I was at rock bottom. There was nothing in me that could have earned that experience. It was a pure gift. And every time I tell the story, every time I think about it, it almost deepens that sense of appreciation and gratitude, that this was an undeserved act of mercy of God for me. And it creates kind of a fire within, a burning within, that how could I want to contain this?
Jesus is truly amazing. Not only he loved us to the extreme, but he said, love one another as I have loved you. Our inspiration, as Father Max said so well, it is the experience of love, of being beloved. But it is also the commandment, the call to love others, to do for others, to make a difference in others' lives, sustaining the formation of our seminarians, paying for their education, the love of people reaching out to those in need through Catholic charities, through this great outreach for the needy. That makes a difference. That brings a transformation in the world.
Love one another is something that I have hung on to in this pandemic, in these past 2 years. Loving one another because of what the Lord has done in my life, has done for all of us. When you meet someone, they're not just a face, they have a story. And when you meet people who are suffering and you don't get down there and preach, you don't have to. The Lord used very few words. In fact, one of the shortest verses is he wept. He got down and he wept. You don't need words, sometimes you just need to be present.
Sometimes we want to run away from the demands of love, that loving one another as Jesus has loved us means a lot more than just being nice to somebody and, washing our hands of the needs of others. Love one another as I have loved you means to allow somebody's need to affect me, to move me, for the person who he's put in front of me right now in this moment.
Back in October of last year, I got into a domestic issue with my, at the time, husband. He threatened me and they had to basically get me out of Volusia County. I just decided that maybe this was gonna be the best move for me. So I uprooted my family and we made St. Augustine our home.
Sometimes God puts people on your heart, and so I just called her. I said, I really want to work with you, Kenesha. I just know God's got something very special for you. And I wanted to meet the children. I love children, and I love her children. It was a critical time for Kenesha. She had a family tragedy.
Oh, this was my little baby. She passed away a few days after she turned 4 months. Last time I seen her was, she had a cream-colored shawl and her headband to match. And she'll always be in my heart.
When I met her, I saw a wound there, but I saw bravery. And I heard her faith. And what impressed me was I just heard, this one's going somewhere. This one's special.
Miss Kate helped me find a place to live. She house hunted for me. To not be in a shelter, my kids are much happier. I actually work for the Record newspaper company. My days start at 1 o'clock in the morning, so I can get there, roll my papers, 300 home deliveries, and I have 8 stores that I deliver papers to. I'm grateful for Catholic Charities. I think if it wasn't for them, my kids wouldn't have a beautiful home.
The great news that we are about is that God loves us unconditionally. But we need to share that good news. We need to share that hope. And I am so grateful for your contribution, for the participants who enable us to do good things for others. Love of neighbor is recognizing, like Mother Teresa said, Christ in the needy. And listening to the story of Kenesha and so many others of Catholic Charities, I am in awe of that experience of responding concretely to the works of mercy, making a difference. And the bishop's appeal enables us to provide, enables us to be there in your name.
It's imperative that I say thank you to all the people that give to the bishop's funds. What you do matters. It makes a difference. Don't ever think it's just writing a check. No, you're changing lives. And I want you to know that. I want you to know that these kids are safer and healthier and are going to grow up to be immeasurably better because of what you have done for them. And I cannot thank you enough. I'm so grateful.
I look at Miss Kate as an angel. And Catholic Charities has shown me a lot of love. And eventually I pray that God puts me in a position where I can be one of those sponsors for Catholic Charities one day.
As I'm in my first year of priesthood, I just would really like to give thanks to everybody who's supported not only me, but all my brothers seminarians along the way. I can say with absolute confidence and surety that I could not have done it without the help of so many people who gave in little or big ways. I can't stop thanking God. I'm blown away daily by God's love and by God's generosity for me. And I see it especially when I'm able to administer the sacraments. When you can see somebody come into the confessional and to see firsthand the experience of peace. And it's a similar experience with going to anoint people. It's just such a privilege, such a gift to be God's instrument and to say those words, "This is my body which is given up for you," and to join my own celibacy into that sacrifice of Jesus for his people. And that becomes my philosophy in any encounter, any conversation, any pastoral experience. What's in the back of my mind is, how can I get this person to know the love that Jesus has for them?
These years of ministry as your bishop have been really wonderful. As I look at my future, it is Pope Francis' call, and I intend to remain in this diocese. and to remain connected with your stories, your families. This diocese is so special. I feel like at home. The life of the diocese, the mission of Christ goes on, and I rejoice. The mission of Christ goes on.